Matt Bernier taking a look at some stakes action from Santa Anita on Saturday afternoon. Race number 8. It's a state-bred stakes race, the $100,000 Thor's Echo Handicap. 6 furlongs on the main track. It's an interesting group of 7 assembled here. We'll take a look at this race using the new Classic PPs available over on DRF.com. A lot of different functionality that maybe you're not familiar with. Maybe you haven't taken a look and seen what the new Classic PPs are all about. Hopefully that's what this little exercise will do. Maybe turn you on to some things that you could potentially use in your handicapping going forward. We'll take them right in order. The number 1 is Coil Me Home for Richard Baltus. This is a horse, highest last out buyer in the field, highest last out raw time form rating of 111 in the field. First time with the blinkers. You see that right here, this little B designation. First time with them on here in his 9-race career. Ran credibly that day. Candy Cornell, the horse that finished second, slightly ahead of Coil Me Home. He returned in his next race to earn an 84 buyer speed figure, so perhaps the number is a little bit on the high side, that 91. Nonetheless, this is a rock-solid runner, a 4-year-old gelding, a son of Coil, goes out for Richard Baltus. If you're curious about workouts and things of that nature, to see how maybe if there's any sort of patterns or anything like that, you take a look and you can click this right here. It says Show All Works. Not just these 6 most recent ones that you see, but you click on that and you get every recorded workout for this horse throughout his career. So that's something that you can throw in there to your handicapping. Or if you're not a fan of taking a look at the lifetime record as far as PPs are concerned, you can only look at the past 6 races, or you can show them all. Whatever your prerogative is, you can do all that with the new Classic PPs. I think Coil Me Home makes plenty of sense in here. At a shorter price, I want to take a shot against. Prodigal Sons, the number 2, goes out for Doug O'Neill. To me, it seems pretty clear from a speed figure standpoint, and you can see these green numbers here. These are buyer speed figures that were earned on grass. As you can see, each of these past 2 races have come at 5/8 on the weeds. To me, just based on his speed figures, he's run considerably better on grass than he has on dirt. Now, granted, he's yet to win on grass. He did win this race here, broke his maiden over good going at Santa Anita, going 6.5 furlongs. I think he's an interesting horse, going to be forwardly placed in a race where I think there's plenty of speed in here. Again, if this race is on turf, perhaps I'd be more intrigued. I'm going to take a shot against Prodigal Son. We move on to number 3, Tap the Wire. This is another interesting candidate in here. Evan Roman has the mount. The Timeform US rating for the most recent run was actually quite solid. There was a little bit of a concern for me from a running style standpoint. It feels like he does his best when he is forwardly placed, and as I just made mention, I think there is other speed in this race. 24-1 in the most recent run. Blinkers on for the first time. You can see the front wraps have been on for each of the past 4 races. If you believe this 82, he's definitely in with a chance. The 108 raw number from a time form standpoint that he earned, that definitely puts him in the mix as well. But again, of the speeds, I think there are other intriguing horses, or horses that are probably better suited to sort of withstand some sort of a prolonged battle early on. Tap the Wire, it's not that I'm way against him. It's just I think there's other better speed options if you're going to go with speeds of the speed. And perhaps Smiling Angelo is one of those that you would need to consider. To me, if I was looking at a speed of the speed type, it would be Smiling Angelo. This is a horse the blinkers come off for the first time in the 5th lifetime start for Phil D'Amato. Joe Talamo retains the mount. They tried the grass most recently, showed speed and faded. Don't want to hold that against him. Ran a decent enough race in the Real Good Deal. This was last year as a 3-year-old over the summer at Del Mar. His 2 races at Santa Anita on the main track, both of them victories by open lengths. It's just going to be an interesting position to see, drawn outside of some other speeds. Is it a scenario where Joe Talamo is just aggressive out of the gate, takes no prisoners, goes right to the front and says, come and catch me, I think I'm better than you off the layoff? Or, given that you're breaking outside of those speeds, do you let the speed go, you take up that perfect sort of stalking trip 3 wide in the clear, and you get first run on any of the horses coming from a little bit off of it? I'll be interested to see with the blinkers off how this horse reacts, but of the speed types, Smiling Angelo I think is one of the more interesting ones. Smoky Image. Boy, it seems like it's been a while since we've seen him. In fact, it has. We haven't seen him since May the 20th of 2018. That was in the Crystal Water that was going a mile on grass down at Santa Anita. Look, first time gelding, first time off of a long layoff here for Carla Gaines. Carla Gaines has done some really solid work with horses coming off prolonged layoffs. We saw that a few weeks ago with Bolo. Perhaps we'll see that again here with Smoky Image. You see Flavian Pratt. He has the mount here this afternoon. This is a horse, to me, the big knock with Smoky Image. I think he's... I'm trying to think of the right way of putting this. I feel like the hype train kind of got out of control early on with him. And then it just kind of went sideways and got a little crazy. Because when he started facing better horses, he just couldn't quite pass the test. He ran well, but he couldn't quite pass that test. You're going to see he's 6 of 20 overall. All 6 of those wins came in the first 6 starts of his career. So essentially he's on a 14-race losing streak, and he's coming off of an injury-induced layoff, and he's a first-time gelding. I respect the fact that Pratt takes the mount here, but it's just a scenario where at a short price, maybe this is an instance where he's a little bit on the vulnerable side. Smoky Image, you respect him, think he can certainly run well. I won't be on him here. Desert Law is the horse that I'm most interested in. Another one that goes out for Carla Gaines. Second off the bench here. Bejarano retains the mount. I like that most recent run. I thought it was solid. I know you finished fourth in a field of 5. Might not look all that strong, but to me it was a nice instance or a nice opportunity where off the bench, showed a little bit of speed, faded. That was his first start in, 7, 8, 9, 10 months, something along those lines between June the 24th and May the 11th of 18 and 19. So he had every right to need a race. This is a horse that throughout his career has improved second off the bench. Take a look at this race, his second career start, and then this one here at Los Al, second off the bench. That's when he finally graduated, took a big significant step forward. From a buyer standpoint, I think he fits this race really well. And yeah, he was stuck in that N2X rank for quite some time, but then 2 starts back, preceding that layoff, he came through and got the job done pretty impressively against a decent enough field. To me, he's that kind of horse where if those speeds drawn to the inside go, he can sit just off and get that run. It's sort of a similar trip to what I was drawing up with Smiling Angelo. The difference is I know Desert Law can sit and still be effective. I don't know that that's entirely the case for Smiling Angelo. He has never shown that dimension. He's never shown the ability to sit and finish. Desert Law has. From a number standpoint, he fits well in here, and I think the connections are in good form right now. Desert Law is the one that I want in this race. And the last horse in the field on the far outside is Fire When Ready, going out for Bob Hess Jr., most recently a winner in Gates of Wire fashion, but that's a theme to me. Go back to this maiden score at the maiden $30,000 claiming level and go back to this run here. Look, I understand going 2 turns. He sat a little bit off of it. Perhaps that shows that he can sit and finish. I think he's going to have to go a heck of a lot faster early if he's going to be up forwardly placed. He just is not that interesting to me in a spot like this. It feels like he's plateaued. Take a look at 4 of the past 5 races. 79, 80, 79, 79. I just don't think he's taking any sort of moves forward, and I think he's going to need to run a heck of a lot faster to win a race like this. So where am I going in here? I've made it very clear. I like Desert Law to win this race. 1 of 2 in here for Carla Gaines. When the program numbers come in, the beautiful thing about the new Classic PPs, you can go through and put in all of your sort of wagers. Whether you want to make them an A, a B, a C, whatever the case may be, they all end up over here for verticals as well as horizontals. And then the beautiful thing is right here, you click on the watch live race video, Santa Anita's feed pops right up. Whatever bets you put together, you click on Bet Now when you're logged into your DRF Bets account and it goes right in. It's one-stop shop, everything you need. And by the way, if you're curious about what some other handicappers from the Racing Form think, you have analysis here by Michael Hammersley, and you have some other selections over here on the right-hand side. So one-stop shop, everything you could ask for. You can keep some notes for races, for individual horses, whatever it may be with the new Classic PPs. Definitely want to go give those a look over on DRF.com. The 8th race at Santa Anita on Saturday, stakes action for Calbreds. I like Desert Law in here. Who do you like in the Thor's Echo?